Now let's turn to potential problems with the upcoming international break and the need for certain players to be quarantined when they return from international duty. It's likely to see Premier League clubs block some call-ups. So let's get more on this with Rebecca Williams. Rebecca, good afternoon to you. Just tell us a bit more about today's developments.
Well, yeah, it's all causing a bit of a kerfuffle among a number of clubs, the prospect of this international break, because the government now has 33 countries on their so-called red list. And the red list means that effectively any person, including elite sports people coming back from those countries, have to self-isolate in a government facility for 10 days. So, of course, that means no training, no playing, and it will have a massive impact on clubs. And among the countries on that list are the likes of Argentina, Brazil and Portugal. Now, we've already heard Jurgen Klopp speak out on this, and he has said that lots of clubs are in agreement that players should not be released if they're travelling to these countries where you have to self-isolate and quarantine on return. And of course, for Liverpool, it would be a bit of a headache because they've got the Brazilian trio of Alisson, Fabinho and Firmino, and then, of course, the Portuguese player Diego Jota on top of that. Now, it's my understanding that there was a meeting held last week, not solely on this subject, but certainly the Premier League held the meeting along with directors of Premier League clubs. And some certainly expressed their concerns. And the decision was taken that any decision made on international players going out on that break, it would be on a club-by-club basis. So players would have to have a discussion with the clubs, with their manager, about whether it was feasible or not. But like I say, it would mean that 10-day quarantine and isolation in a government facility. Players who are going to non-red list countries, they also have to self-isolate on return, but they are able to train and play in that time. They just can't go to things like the local supermarket. And then after 5 days, they do a coronavirus test. And if it comes back negative, then they don't have to self-isolate and quarantine any further. But certainly FIFA have somewhat relaxed their rules. They've made this possible that, you know, it's not compulsory for players to travel to red list countries if they get an international call-up. But it's certainly causing a bit of a headache. And I've spoken to a lot of clubs this morning, and it seems that a fair few of them are unlikely to release their players.